So Chris made a friend at our marina. We were at Perry Sound, which is Big Sound Marina, is where we were at, and this was a nice little town. The It was the last place really for us to be in a place that we could have provisioning and restaurants and stuff for a while. So we rented a car and did a big Walmart run and went to some restaurants.
Hit some antique stores too.
Yeah, we did. So we had a nice time, and we ran back into Joan and Gary on Domino Effect, and at the marina they were there as well. I think
It was a nice marina. They had we bought a bunch of meat and cooked it off with the barbecue grill, which we usually do. So we had a freezer full of pre-cooked, and then we just gotta warm it up. And they had nice docks, and again, it was very pretty there.
we are leaving Perry Sound. This is the Big Sound Marina that we stayed in. It's very close to the little downtown area. It was a good place. And we are headed out. And we're going to anchor tonight. So I'm excited. I love anchoring. We met up again with Domino Effect, Joan and Gary, and they invited us to stay at their favorite anchorage with them. So we are going to follow them there and have a great weekend.
Here's another example of these rocks. The rocks are just scattered everywhere. Just some are just barely above the water, and some are just below the water.
Whew, that's what we just came through. It was deep. It was about 10 feet under the boat. It was about 10 feet deep, so about 7 feet under the boat. But whoa, that's narrow. Well, we just got to our anchorage, and we are anchored, but Chris is tying off to the shore. We are the last boat this direction. So I'm gonna get video while it's pristine. It is absolutely beautiful. There's a shallow entrance that way. We did not come through that direction. It is absolutely gorgeous here. So we were at Gary and Joan's secret anchorage that was wonderful, and so they took us on a long dinghy ride, and they're waving at people that they're friends with that are on the other end of the anchorage, and their dog Sloan attached himself to me, and I petted him the whole way. We went through all these little channels, and he just took us around on this beautiful day.
There's like all these canals. This is a big island with all these channels and little lakes in it that are all hooked together by these little narrow channels with rocks everywhere.
Then you go down south, around, or down to the right, around the rock, and then you'll see another one of these over on the other side.
Okay.
And you go through there, and there's sand beach on the left and
I've noticed that a lot of people who are native up here have really big dinghies. He had obviously a 70 horsepower motor on his dinghy, and because they tend to go to these anchorages and then take long dinghy rides, like we did here. We went back to Snug Harbor, past this lighthouse.
It was about 4 miles, I think.
Yeah, 4 or 5 miles is quite a ways. This is Snug Harbor. It's a little spot on the Georgian Bay here. Got a little road down to the water where we came in with the lighthouse. And we're gonna go to Gillies for lunch. Looks like a great place. have some ice cream. The water is so nice here. Well, I lost this little smallmouth bass, but I ended up catching maybe 15, and we hit 3.
We had a really good fish fry. It was great. So the next day, Joan and Gary took us to the beach that they were telling us about previously. And it was a gloomy day, and the water was cool. But it was a nice little area. They had like a sand beach. And but you can see how desolate it is out here. And so we flew the drone and got some overhead footage, and you're looking out over the bay here.
Yeah, then we spun back around south to the shoreline, which is just islands.
Yeah, this is, when they say this is the 1,000 island, or 30,000.
30,000 islands, they're probably undercounting.
Right. We were sad to have to leave and pull anchor and go, but it was time to leave. And Joan and Gary left a little before us that morning, but it was a pretty day, which I was happy about because then you can see the rocks under the water. So while we were there, Joan and Gary invited us over for dinner one night, and then we had the fish fry the next night with them and invited them over. So it was a really great time. I swam a lot. When I swim by the boat, I'm usually laying out on one of our floaties. So I floated a lot, I should say. But it was really nice to be back there.
This little section here is kind of the little lake part, and it's nice and deep. You don't have to worry too much. But then you turn into this channel here, and that's where Laura gets nervous.
Yes. Yeah, I get nervous a lot, as y'all know. But oh my gosh, the rocks are right there. There's some of these areas are so narrow, and you can see the rocks just under the water. And they say stay in the channel, but the problem with this is that there's no channel markers.
Yeah, and you can see you have to make a little S turn right here, because on the left there's a rock that's that under the water that comes out into the channel, and then you got to go around that one, and then you have to go back to the left and then turn right to go around the rock that's going to show up under the same spot on the other side there where it sticks out. So you don't have a lot of room, but once you get through there, it's pretty good.
Right. This is not an area that we would have ever gone into.
No.
Without following a local, ever.
Because there's not charted. You have to know exactly what you're doing. And then that's the little opening that goes from that channel out into the bay out there. And you're still not safe because there's rocks everywhere.
Well, we left Wright's Marina this morning. Not really sure if we were gonna leave or not last night. So we thought, oh well, we'll stay another day and we'll take some video of Wright's Marina. And then this morning we were like, it's a go. So we got everything ready and left. So we didn't get any video of Wright's Marina. But we stayed there for 2 days, and it was it's a good place. There's not much there, but the marina gave me a golf cart ride down to the convenience store. But they also have a restaurant, but that's been closed for 2 years. So we are on our way now to Bad River Bay, and there's kind of conflicting ideas about the waves and everything today and the wind, but we think we're gonna get there by 12:30, and we think the wind is gonna change about noon. I'm sorry, about 1. So hopefully we'll be all anchored up. Now Bad River Bay supposedly has great walleye fishing. So Chris is planning on fishing while we're there. It's supposed to be very pretty, so I'm excited. So these are the little barrier islands. We've had some really narrow spots, and I think we're about to go into another narrow spot up here in just a minute. But even these little small islands is making a break from the big bay, so that's good. I like being back here. We are out exposed into the exposed part of Georgian Bay, just off just came out of the island area, and it's really not bad. It's not bad today at all. Again, it's supposed to get bad later today, but look at that. It's just awesome. I am very glad that we came out today. I was worried. I was very worried. And I'll be glad to get anchored. But I'm glad that we made the decision. It turned out to be a pretty day. But this bay can get very volatile. When we decided to stay an extra day at Wright's Marina, it was just because of weather, and I'm so glad we did, because we ran back into Runaway. It's Donna and Chris, and we haven't seen them since Punta Gorda, so we were really excited to see them. We had ducktails last night, so we had a good time. It turned out to be a beautiful cruise that day, and we got into our anchorage at Bad River Bay around 12:30 or so. This cut is called Devil's Gate, and because there's rapids there towards the left. We weren't the only people in the anchorage, and if you see the boats, there's 2 boats back there that are tied up to a sheer wall, just like you would a dock.
We put the dinghy in the water and then headed through Devil's Gate to check out these rapids. And you see this boiling water right here in front? That's where I did my fishing right there. And I caught 3 smallmouth bass.
We were a little concerned about the rapids. We didn't know if it was coming over like a rock or something. So we asked some other people, and they said, nope, you just have to power through it. So we did.
Yeah, so he told us there's a rock on the right just past it. So on the left. So we went to the right a little bit, and we were just idling up to it, and then we just stopped. The water was flowing so hard, so I gave it a little gas, and we went up over what I thought was a little rock wall, but it wasn't. It was just water rushing through.
It was really pretty back there. We were the only people dinghying back there at the time. So.
And there's a maze of little islands back there. And it was funny when I was listening to some kayakers coming out, and the guy was, I'm sorry we got us lost. I didn't have a map with us, so I was kind of careful about going too far. But you can see there's another little section of rapids there ahead of us that we didn't go through. And I wanted to fish in that boiling water too, but it was rainy and cold the rest of the time we were here, so I didn't get to do any more fishing.
I was looking at a map of this area, and there were some other rapids further up, and I thought we ought to go up there. And then Chris told me about the people getting lost, and I was like, nope, we're good. We'll just stay in this pool area.
There was a maze of little islands in there, and but it was, like all these pictures, the pictures don't do it justice. It's absolutely gorgeous. The water's clear, and it's just, it's desolate. Well, I heard there's also a lot of rattlesnakes on shore too, so you have to be careful. This whole area has kind of got a lot of rattlesnakes. And then we headed back through the little rapids back out into the bay. And Laura thought this was a fun ride through here.
I did. I liked it. But I wasn't the one driving this time.
No,
so.
It's nothing. We're just going slow. But you can see the water's, the current catches you.
But we had a nice time. I love dinghy rides, but and this was the only time I think I got on the dinghy while we were here. But we had some other people that came in, and we were going to go say hi to them. But then it turned out to be kind of ugly the next couple days.
Yeah. We made it back to Miracle out there in the little lake part. It was an absolutely beautiful day. The video, like I said, doesn't do it justice. It's just beautiful. And this is right by those rapids there. I finally caught a smallmouth, another smallmouth. A pretty big one though.
He
And
never got his walleye.
And then the camera cut off right as it jumped.
We stayed at our anchorage 4 days. The first 2 days were beautiful, and the second 2 days were cold and rainy and really windy. So but it was a beautiful place to be, and so I'm glad that we went there. So I hadn't driven out of an anchorage in a while, so Chris had me do it. It was a muddy anchor, so I was spinning the boat. I think Chris had the anchor down in the water, and we were washing the mud off of it at the time. 2 years ago, if you had told me that I would be riding in a dinghy looking over rapids in Canada, I would have never believed it. I can't believe that we're here. There's many days. The night before we set out on the deck, that and as the sun was going down, like it was almost dark, and I thought, I cannot believe that I am here in Canada. It is just, I don't know, it's such a churn of events, and I'm so glad that we've done this.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's amazing how your life can change. First we live in Houston, now we're, on a boat in Canada. It's still hard to believe that it's happening.
Once we pulled out of the anchorage, we got back into the main bay and did the whole way in the bay. So it was a calm day though. So I'm glad that we chose that route. These mountains I saw earlier in the distance, and I said, I think those are mountains, but maybe they're low clouds. I don't know. So I felt vindicated. They were actually mountains. We've been watching these mountains in the distance, and now we're here. So we are coming around and heading into Killarney. There's a cruise ship waiting out here in the bay. I think they take them, they have excursions into Killarney. I guess they have tenders, because that's a big cruise ship. And then there's the cut to get into the Killarney Mountain Lodge. It was a 4-hour journey from the anchorage, and we were pulling into Killarney Mountain Lodge. The dock hands here were very good. They got us hooked up and tied off and everything. They did a great job. So we've had a really great second week on Georgian Bay. We can't thank Gary and Joan enough for taking us to their secret anchorage and taking us around. And when they say the marinas have been great and the anchorages have been even better. But I will say that the anchorages have really spotty service. So we're sorry that it took us so long to get this video out, but we're working on it. We're still enjoying ourselves. So thank you so much for following along, and we are like your comments and your thumbs up and all of that stuff. So join us next week as we head to Little Current and beyond. We've got 2 more weeks in the Georgian Bay. And Chris has another view from the shower window.
Good morning. Time for another shower window. We're on a little, I don't know what to call it really. It's some kind of little meandering behind all these islands here in Georgian Bay. This meandering's got kind of a dead end, but as you can see, it's beautiful. And it sort of goes down up in here and sort of dead ends back there. There's a few other boats here with us the other direction, but it's a beautiful view from the shower window. And it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and look how daylight it is. Looks like 10 o'clock.